talk. No bull. Real talk. We're putting it all on the table. You know what to do.
Welcome. It's a morning podcast with the lads today.
Yep.
How are we, guys?
Real well. Thanks for meeting me in the mornings where the energy comes from.
That's it, man. That's it. So we're episode 9 today. So
Getting there.
Creeping up there,
Creeping
man.
up to
We're
the
creeping up there.
Double digits.
Yeah, turning up, showing up, keeping it consistent. So today we've got a special guest on, Mattie Quinten. Okay, I met Matt back in 2023, and at that point in time, Matt was already 1 year into this quest, this roller coaster ride that he's been on. And this is why we wanted to get Matt on today, to share this quest that he's been on, because it's truly incredible. And mate, you know, we've met you through the dads community. It's something we speak of a lot here on the podcast, but this is the power of what this has got, right? Like this is the importance of sharing these stories, because we know personally that your quest is inspiring other men. So that's why we've got you here today.
Good morning, Tim.
Yeah, so bud.
Morning, bud.
What a mate.
Yes, thanks for having me here, boys.
No worries, man. It's
Yeah,
a
we
pleasure.
met at a breathwork session,
We
wasn't
did,
it? At Lake Eden, North Lakes.
That's right, man. That's right.
Went along and thought, what's this breathwork stuff all about? And that was part of the layering of the many quests that I've been on that have
Side
created
quests.
a journey.
Side
I know
quests.
that you don't like using the word journey, but I looked into
right.
a few different
Thank you.
meanings, and
okay.
there's many quests that have made the journey, but I hate the word journey at the same time. I need to find another one. There's lots of expeditions that we go on.
That's right.
it.
Expedition. I like that one.
We'll put that one in the mental bank.
Yeah,
We'll use that for next time as
I
well.
read a quote the other day, and it's not about getting or being at the top of the mountain, it's about how you get there. So let's
right.
talk about it today.
Yeah, most
100%.
definitely. Most definitely. So let's crack right into it, Matt. So take us back, man. Take us back to where it all started. Like even before you got that phone call. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But let's go back a little bit prior to that. Okay?
Oh, how far back do you want to go?
Well,
we can
you
go
know.
back as far as the Sydney subculture in the 90s, and the fact that
As-
I was
as
part
back
of
as
the
you wanna
nightclub
go.
lifestyle there, and
Yeah, wow.
I was gravitated towards subcultures because for me it's where the energy was. It's where everything was new and fresh and fun. I was part of the hardcore punk rock scene there, which led into a whole bunch of really cool stuff. DIY, the whole ethos of that sits within my mentality. The PMA that Rick spoke about, I've got tattooed on my hand. I'm wearing it today.
Yeah.
Positive mental attitude's huge for me. It's been a big part of what brings me here today, and being like this. This is 3 years sober for me today during Men's Mental Health
Yeah.
Month.
Well done.
Today's
mate.
a fucking
Well done.
huge day for me. So
Well done,
Yeah.
dude. Well done.
Done it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, bud.
Proud of you.
So yeah, man, punk rock, hip hop, metal, little bit of metal, and that's where the energy was. So I was around a whole bunch of really cool people, and there'd be times that I'd go out on a Thursday night and people wouldn't see me till Sunday halfway.
Yeah.
Lots of fun,
Yeah.
and yeah, a bit of a journey along the way. Got until 38 before I had a girlfriend in my life. My second girlfriend ever was the one that became a wife, and yeah, whole lots of stories.
Yeah.
So.
So when you say you'd go out on a Friday, you wouldn't be home till Sunday. So obviously that had a lifestyle within itself, yeah.
I'd had a mad lifestyle. I was hanging out with mates that were strippers, driving them to shows in my 68 Chevy, and I was the 170 kilo dude that would demand the money before the show went on.
Yeah, okay.
From one show to the next, and we'd finish up at 1, 2 in the morning, then we'd go out drinking, have a bit of fun. Lead into the next day, and it's like, fuck, why go to bed? Let's keep rocking.
Yeah.
And then that would be Friday night into Saturday night there'd be a show on, go and hang with the crew, lead into Sunday morning, and then I'd go home and crash. So yeah, lots of fun.
Repeat and rinse and repeat.
Yeah, that was my weekends, and then during the week I was trying to be corporate, trying to balance the two,
Yeah.
and it created a crazy mix of internal voices.
Yeah. So what were you doing within the corporate world?
I was starting off as a financial assessor for Toyota Finance. I was the one that could say yes and no to people for car loans. From there, I decided that I didn't want to be in an office. I got into sales because I like being out and moving and communicating and talking to people. Started as a sales rep looking at Sydney City. That was really cool. Did some cool stuff there. I was working for an industrial supplier. Went to the Opera House's Christmas party. Got to go to Sydney Cricket Ground and Sydney Football Stadium, supplying them all their tooling and that sort of stuff. So there, and balancing work and life kind of both at the same time. And
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. And then, so you found yourself living in sunny Queensland?
Yeah, got a relocation with work. I was working for 3M, and in that job, that was filtration, so filtration of liquids, making a dirty liquid clean, and got a relocation with work. So they made it easy for me to move up from Sydney to Queensland with the family. We were pregnant with our second child, missed the housing boom. We're like, what are we going to do? So the relocation package came from work that brought me up to Queensland. Yeah. Moving into a city that we knew nothing about, didn't know any people. Came up, we had Frankie, who was just over 12 months old, and Mel was pregnant with our second kid, so that brought us up here. Loved the climate, loved the lifestyle. What do we get, like a month of winter a year up here, man? It's insane.
Not even winter.
The outdoor life's unreal. The kids were reactive airways, bronchiolitis, requiring asthma puffer. When they were that young, I wasn't diagnosed as asthma, so decided to move somewhere warmer. That had good and bad sides. It's funny you bring that up because that's going to talk to the strength of the dads community and the social connection. That was 9 years ago. Last month that we moved up here, but it meant that I moved away from friends, from family, and we found it was just us for that time.
Yeah.
It meant that Mel, who was ex-wife, she was a registered nurse and a midwife, so she'd work during the day on weekends or night shift. So I'd work during the week and father on weekends. Mel would go to work on weekends and I'd father at that time. So
yeah,
from the time little bloke was born up here, from the time he was 6 months old and 2 years, we're kind of almost two separate lives in relation to parenting rather than working together as a team.
Yeah. Yeah. And how were you coping with that sort of lifestyle? Like, was that hard for you?
It was hard for me to make friends because when I'm pulling up at a park as a single dad, essentially because Mel's at work, we weren't rocking up as a family. I've got a 6-month-old and a 2-year-old kid. What I found hard was making friends at that time, but I loved the connection that it brought with the kids and watching them grow. I said to a lady in the shopping centre yesterday, I saw a kid with about 2 years old. So I miss them that age, and I thought about that comment. And I wish I could have one of every version of them. So my boy's now 8 and Frankie's 10. I wish I could have one of every version of them along the way because I've loved every version of them and that love has just grown. But how am I going to afford to feed them?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Every stage has been really cool and every stage has been different. And I've loved every stage of it. And as much as they're growing, I'm growing, man. It's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we fast forward a little bit. How do we find ourselves in this whole journey of where you are now, this whole quest of where you are now? Let's jump to that sort of section of your life. So this is what's going to cover most of the potty. So
yep.
About 6 years worth of doing that I spoke about, being the dad on my own on weekends essentially. Took me into 2019. I moved out of working for 3M to a different company that was purely beverage focused.
Okay. What kind of beverages are we talking about?
Any liquid that required filtration. So I was doing non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages. But when I signed, there was a non-compete clause that meant that I couldn't work with an Australian customer for 12 months after I handed in my resignation at 3M. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I went to a corporate lawyer and I said, does this non-compete clause stand? And they said, yeah, you can't speak to an Australian employer for 12 months. Australian customer, for 12 months. So I went to my new boss and I'm like, dude, what am I going to do? He said, well, funnily enough, we've got a vacant territory in the North Island of New Zealand. Would you be able to travel and look after that territory? I'm like, what's that going to take? It meant that I needed to do 2 weeks at home in Brisbane and a week away in New Zealand for the entire year.
Wow.
So I was FIFO to the beverage industry, and the beverage industry in New Zealand, as you're probably aware, particularly on the North Island, is a lot of wine.
Yep.
So I was travelling and FIFOing to the wine industry of New Zealand every 3 weeks. It was sick. It was so fun. I was working with the best winemakers in the world. Been sensory trained by Villa Maria in their lab for 2 days in Auckland, learning how to taste wine with my blindfold on, smell it, taste it, completely there. And when I was doing that much travelling, alcohol became a friend. I'd make sure that I would hit my Qantas luggage capacity every time I was coming home, which was 30 kilos. But I'd go away with a 10-kilo suitcase, fill it with beer and wine, tick on the customs card that I'm bringing in commercial samples of liquid over 1.125 worth of alcohol, and they'd let it through every time. So every 3 weeks I'm bringing in 20 kilos worth of booze and picking up duty-free on the way through. The reason I was doing that, it turns out, is because my internal voice didn't like myself. When I had a drink of alcohol, it turned the voice down and it felt like a comfortable hug.
Yeah.
Until it wasn't.
I think that's quickly an important thing to touch on. I think that's kind of how I felt with a bit of the smoke, you know. I think it's why everyone turns to those vices to calm that voice down, and then, you know, you think it's going great until it's not.
So it was every third Friday, 4 hours in the lounge. I knew the cabin crew on the planes because they would be the same cabin crew that I'm flying over with on a Monday morning. Sitting exit row, I've got the cabin crew directly opposite me. It was fun when they're bringing the food cart through. They're dropping me a bottle of wine before they get to the front. They're bringing another one when it's my turn, and when the trolley gets to the back, I'm there. I'm getting off the plane. Man, I thought it was fun, but I look back now and it's really sad. When the kids are meeting me at the airport, I'm greeting them. I'm waking up Saturday morning going, lucky I made it home. That Uber must have been pretty good to get me here. Well, it wasn't an Uber that got me home. My family got me home.
Yeah.
And then COVID came. So 2019 was flying, and then 2020 was, I've got to go out and meet new Brisbane customers. Alcohol was my friend. I didn't have any friends because I'd parented to that point where it's hard to make mates. And I thought it was fun, like I said, until it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was that thing that was turning down the internal voice, the internal chatter. I'd been so social. I touched earlier about how I was so social on weekends and the types of crew that I was hanging with. The subcultures are really tight-knit. I've still got some really solid friends from that. A bunch of them were at the wedding. I speak to monthly, weekly, some of those crew. So to go from being really social to not having a social connection, working from home, meant that I didn't even have photocopy and water cooler conversations with anyone. The only adult interaction that I'm getting during the week is at home or essentially a sales transaction conversation.
Yeah.
You can't have real talk in those types of places because everyone's carrying their own issues. It's not a place to bring it up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And then, so what was the follow-on from all of that? Like, how did life transpire after that for you? Like, you know, you found yourself in a bit of a, I guess, you know, with this realization that, you know, the alcohol wasn't working for you.
Yeah, it went a bit rocky. I went through a breakup, and the breakup meant that I couldn't go home. That was the phone call that I got.
Yeah.
The phone call was from the police saying that I wasn't allowed within 100 metres of my home on Tuesday morning on the way to work.
Yeah, wow.
So I'm like, fuck, what do I do? Everything's there. My kids are at that home. My dog's at that home. All my possessions. I had a mortgage on that. That was my house, man.
Yeah.
That's where everything was. I couldn't go back there. So I rang mum and dad and went, hey, what am I going to do? They helped me out for a little while in relation to finances to put me into a hotel room. The hotel room that I got was $70 a night in Spring Hill in a single bed. I'm like, this needs to stop. That was 3 years ago today.
Yeah.
I was using alcohol a lot. I was drinking at least 4 cans of 8% IPA and then thinking, okay, time to start drinking now and have a bottle or two of wine and then go to bed. With all the study that I've done and understanding the science and the why around alcohol, I realised what I was doing to myself, because when you have a lot of alcohol, or even fucking 2 drinks, affects your REM sleep. In a sleep of 8 hours, the science is that you're meant to hit REM 6 to 8 times. REM's the sleep level that you get to where it's restorative and your body wants to fix itself while you're asleep. If you have even 2 drinks of alcohol, you'll be lucky to hit 2 levels of REM sleep at that time.
Sorry, mate.
So what I was doing, without realising the science around why, my emotions were a mess. So I was on a heavy dose of Prozac as well, antidepressants. But I'd also realised that I would be waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning and want to continue my sleep. So I would hit Stilnox or Valium as well, which would then get me through that period of, I'm sure people that have had a few drinks feel like they wake up 2, 3 in the morning and go, how am I going to get back to sleep, rocking, turning. It's because your blood sugars have dropped, everything's crashed.
Yeah.
Your body's trying to process that. Without realising that's what I was doing, there were drugs that would help numb that as well, get me to 6, 7 in the morning, and then how am I going to wake up? So when I found myself in that hotel room on my own, not able to go home, I looked in the mirror, I'm like, fucking, what are you doing yourself, mate? You've got to pull out of this. I stopped everything. If you stop alcohol, it can be deadly, and you're meant to do it with medical supervision. If you stop any SSRI antidepressant without a taper system, it can hit you pretty hard. There's a medical process to taper off SSRIs. In fact, I was using Stilnox as well, and Valium. I stopped it all at once. Shaking, sweating in that room. I'm like, no, I've got to pull through this. Pull through it for me, pull through it for the kids. And I did it. And then I found that I couldn't afford the hotel room anymore on weekends because they jacked the price from $70 a night to $110.
Jeez.
In June and July, I had a company car. I was going to sleep in my company car at Sutton's Beach because the beach had showers. So I'd go to the laundromat, get my clothes washed, go and sleep in the car, wait for the Monday morning fare to come on at the hotel, go back to the hotel, and that's where I would spend my nights. And that happened for about 6 weeks. I'm like, fuck, who do I know in Brisbane? I don't know anyone. When that call came, I didn't have any mates that I could even ring and go, dude, I'm fucked. Can I come and couch surf with you? I had no one. My mum and dad, love them to bits, but they're 1,000 kilometres away.
That's right.
My brother's next door to them, a couple of suburbs away. I was on my pat. I was alone. No one near me. I'm like, fuck, I'm the only one that can pull out of this. What can I do? And that's what I did, was just call on the one person that I knew. And she hooked me up with a friend. I stayed with her for 2 weeks and then got a rental that meant that I could start to rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty powerful. I mean, I don't know many people that have found themselves in that kind of situation. It's definitely not something I've ever been through, and it's, I'd say, there's many people out there that probably have, but it's one of those things, right, that can go one of two ways. Like, you can either really sink deeper into that hole because, you obviously feel like your life's crumbling around you, and that would be the easy thing to do, right?
Yeah, man.
That'd be the path of least resistance.
I knew I could do hard shit, because in 2008 I was at the Big Day Out, and the only band I wanted to see was Rage Against the Machine. I've talked about seeing bands. That was my weekends. Pick up the street press, look through, we're going to go this weekend, go to a band. All I wanted to see was Rage Against the Machine. They were a hybrid of everything I was into. Punk rock, hip hop and metal, right? It's all there in one. I'm like, these dudes are fucking sick. I couldn't stand up anymore. I was 170 kilos on Australia Day of 2008. And I went and sat down, put my head in my hands. I remember looking up and seeing my reflection and going, fucking dude, fix this. Rang my boy Pete. And that year, I went from 170 kilos down to 90 in 10 months.
Yeah, wow.
And that was because I took up a sport that I really like, boxing. And for the first time in my life, instead of making weight loss a focus, sport and eating right and everything layered to become a focus for me. So I knew I could do hard shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking got to do this, got to pull out of it. for the kids. And that's where, man, I'm 6'3". I didn't even fit in the single bed in Spring Hill. But I did it. I'm like, how am I going to do this? What have I got to do? I knew that if I was stopping all that at once, I had to take care of my nutrition. How am I going to eat right? Thinking back to the boxing days. I didn't have access to a kitchen. I didn't have access to any way to prepare food. How am I going to eat right? Went and looked around the supermarket. And the supermarket near the hotel, Woolies in the sale section, had a lentil salad. Almost like a tabbouleh, right? I'm like, healthy, vegetarian, protein. Let's fucking eat right. If I eat right, I'm at least taking care of that part of my body that it's going to get the nutrients that it needs. And the food as medicine is going to help pull me through.
Yeah.
Well, how am I going to eat that? Well, cool, there's a bar fridge in the hotel room. So I grab some hummus to go with it. I don't really like the texture. What else can I chuck in there? Cashews. I'm eating lentil salad with hummus and cashews, and my snack was bananas. I'm starting to feel good because I'm eating right. I had no money. I'm only drinking water. Started feeling okay. Pulled out of the rough patch. I'm feeling mentally fucking strong because I've pulled through that shit. I'm starting to eat right. Hitting goals at work. Snowball starting, boys. This is feeling good.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got just a question. I've wanted to ask this for a little bit now, but how did you convince yourself or tell those thoughts in your head that when it was time to give up, how did you stop yourself from reverting back to your old habits? What was going through your head? What were you telling yourself to tell those voices to fuck off?
I was stronger than that. I knew I was better than that.
Yeah.
I knew that. It's a really good question. Thanks for asking it. I knew that if any of my friends were spoken to like that from anyone else, I fucking belt them. I was speaking to myself like that.
That's all right, man. Let it out.
Good, man. Good, bro.
And I had to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked around at the quality people that I still had. A good family connection. The friends on the other end of the phone. My beautiful kids. I'm like, be kind to yourself. Frankie's got a t-shirt that she wore at football last week when it was Harvey's game. It says on the back of it, be kind to yourself. I've said on Dad's Communities a lot. I even said it on Stephen's Live last night. Be kind to yourself. And that's what I did.
Okay.
That's what I had to do. Was start being kind to myself, because to get to that point, I wasn't.
Like cut yourself some slack. You're getting through it each little bit. You know, if there's a back step, you know, you can always take 2 steps forward kind of approach. Is that what you...
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you've been rough on yourself. To get to this point, you've been rough on yourself.
Yeah.
The alcohol and the drugs would numb the voices and take them away. But I didn't have an off switch because it felt good that the voices had stopped. And I'd gone too far. And coming from the family background that I've got, I won't touch on that, but they'll know where this is coming from if they hear it. I knew that if you stop, you get better. And I knew that I was able to do hard things, because not every motherfucker out there can lose 80 kilos in 10 months. I did.
Yeah. When you lost that weight and you went through that, and then you've obviously found yourself at the point of where you've become essentially sort of semi-homeless. How much weight had you put on then? Like, where were you back?
I was back up from being down to 90. I looked like a cancer patient. It was pretty funny. I would go out and people that hadn't seen me for a bunch of months in those subcultures, I stopped everything and just concentrated on boxing. It was unreal. We'd do it Tuesday, Thursday nights, and then I'd eat right to train better, and that became a snowball of its own. And then I'd turn up from being 170 back down to 110 on my way down. They're like, mate, you're all right, you're sick, haven't seen you for a while. I'd shave my head. because I didn't like getting sweaty with hair.
Yeah.
And I just knew that I can do this. I can do the hard things.
Yeah. So when you've...
So I got back up to 140. When I was in that hotel room, I was at 140. And I realise now the reason I was at 140 is I wasn't taking care of myself.
No.
Because my liver was overloaded with the drugs and the alcohol that I was consuming to be there. And I'm sitting here now, I float between 105 and 110. That's my natural state. And at 6'3", that's a good weight for me. I could qualify for skin surgery. I'd love to do the running with you, but I've got this loose skin suit that flops up and down. I wear it like a trophy now. To get that fixed, it's many thousands of dollars, and 3 months on my back until the entire circumference sews back together. I haven't got the time or the money to do that, so I just keep moving. And yeah, that's part of the snowball. Let's start moving into the layering that Rick spoke about.
Yeah,
the PMA.
So you started some healthy habits.
You started eating right in the hotel room. Started eating right. I'm like, this is all right, cool. What can I do? How can I stack this?
Yeah, and so you start habit stacking. So let's go through some of the habits that you started to stack to get to where you are now.
So I got the rental.
Yep.
I'm all right, cool. I'm eating right. Let's continue that. Let's continue drinking water. I started to feel good. I started doing some research on the science of alcohol, and that's where I understand about the REM sleep and everything else that comes with that. All right, cool. Next thing that I need to fix is sleep. My sleep was fucked to the point that I was medicating with drugs to get over the fact that alcohol was wrecking my sleep. That's not a good loop. No. How can I fix my sleep? Funnily enough, photography is a hobby of mine. I started taking photos of the sunrises because every low angle sunlight photo you see that I put up, anyone that's watching this that's seen me on socials or whatever know that I love a low angle sunlight photo. That's me beating my demons. If I can be out and watch the sunrise, that's a really good launch into the day. In winter in Queensland, the sun comes up after 6 o'clock. So I could wake up at 5:30, head down to Sandgate, go down to Shorncliffe Pier and take a photo with the sun coming up. Right, cool, this feels good. I'm enjoying sunrises. I'm enjoying eating right. I'm enjoying sleeping well. I've woken up so early, I'll go to bed early. Okay, cool, that works. In summer, the sun comes up at 4:15. Yeah. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual shift. So I'm like, I'm enjoying these sunrises. And as the days would see the sun come up earlier, I'm getting up earlier. As the sun's coming up earlier, I'm getting up. I'm going to bed earlier. It's all this loop of really good sleep. Then I caught a Huberman podcast, how to supplement sleep. So I supplement my sleep now, and I have for the last 2 years. I can put my head on a pillow at 8:30 at night, and I'll be asleep within 5 minutes. I'll have the most solid sleep. Wake up at 4:30 now, and that's my body clock. I thought I had a circadian rhythm cycle that wanted to keep me up late at night. That doesn't work for me. That's why we're here in the morning doing this podcast, because it's where my energy's at. Yeah. I fucking love the mornings now.
I heard something a long time ago, and you might be able to I don't know, through what you know about sort of like sleep cycles and stuff, was that 1 hour of sleep before midnight equates to 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, it's where your heaviest sleep is with your REM, is the early part of the night.
Yeah.
But also, because my kids are little, I go to bed with them.
Yeah.
I remember when I was little, I get mega curious about, what are the adults doing?
Yeah.
Why do they get to stay up? I'd sneak and I'd pretend I was asleep. And particularly if mum and dad are at a party or whatever and playing poker and shit like they used to, I'd pretend I'm asleep. And go and spy on them. I know how to fix that with my kids. I'll take it away from them. I'll go to bed at the same time. You were talking about co-sleeping in the last podcast. We never co-slept with our kids when they were little. But because of the townhouse that I'm in, we had a heat wave. The first summer that I was there, my bedroom's the only one with an aircon, so I put a single bed. I've got a queen bed and a single bed, and the kids now alternate. But we go to bed at the same time. I'm at the point now where we put a sleep story on when we go to bed through the Calm app. We put Wizard of Oz on the other night. Frankie's like, who was your favourite character, Dad? I was like, I didn't even hear the characters' names. I was asleep by then. I was the first to fall asleep. Let's have a race tomorrow night. Let's see who falls asleep first. I don't have an issue with the kids going to sleep now. It's great.
Yeah.
But because I go to bed early, I wake up at 4:30, and that was the first part of the habit stacking that I did, was fixing my sleep. For fixing my sleep, I'm like, okay, cool. I've got the dog now. He needs to go for a walk. 140 kilos going down, taking photos of the sunrise, got my dog. I want to go for a walk, mate. Let's go and get some sniffs. Let's get you some enrichment. We'd walk a K, 2 Ks and come back and sit down. My ankles would be sore, my knees would be sore, mate. Motherfucker, I used to box with the Coogee rowers and you used to tease them because they couldn't keep up with the fat bloke. You've become the fat bloke again. Walk further next time. Walk further next time. I'm like, I remember when I was boxing, I used to eat right and it felt good because I could move better. Let's loop that again. And weight loss was not the focus. Being healthy was the focus. Oh, okay, cool. Psychology worked. Let's get back into that. Go and talk to someone that can help me reframe the thoughts that I'm going through. So fixed sleep, fixed nutrition, fixed hydration, fixed movement, psychology. That session we had with Rachel was unreal. I loved it, but that was the one that I could come and spectate on.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, Matt was our guest for our Rachel episode.
Fix the mental, and those all combined, 1% better a day. Waking up thinking, how can I be better today than tomorrow? I ran the stats on it before I come here this morning. It was, if you're 1% better a day for 3 years, you can fact check this, it's something like 54,000 times better than you were 3 years ago.
Yeah.
With all this stacking, did you focus on one thing at a time though?
I couldn't do it all at once, man. There's no fucking way. I could be here right now in one go.
Because that's important, because I think like a lot of people put pressure on themselves to try to fix it all at once.
Can't.
And that's when you set, I've learnt this recently, you set yourself up for some extreme failure. You just got to tackle one thing at a time. And then that's obviously what you've done. You've tackled what you thought was most important first, which was how you what you ate. And
what's the next step look like is the only thing that you need to think about.
Okay.
The end goal's here, but you'll end up fucking over there if you take one step at a time. Just keep moving. Just try it. That Rick was talking about, just try it. How do you know you're going to do it or not? If you don't take that next step, it's not going to hurt. It's only one step. Fucking felt good. Next step. Next step. Next step. Before you know it, I'll get Dean to chuck some photos up of the old Mattie. I'll look back now at photos and the video that I did of my 12-month anniversary on this. I'm like, I don't even know that bloke anymore. He was me, but he still had a few doubts. That's just, it's all it is, man. One step at a time, 1% better. And the whole stacking thing, when you had Ryan was talking about doing 15 minutes in a day. I learned when I was doing boxing, I'm like, this 1 hour's going to hurt. Fuck, this 1 hour of boxing is going to kill me. What percentage of a day do you reckon an hour is? I'll ask you a question.
I'm not good with math there.
All right, I'll answer it quickly for you. But the fact that you had to think about it shows me that you don't realise how much it is. 1 hour of a day is only 4% of a day. If I could give myself 4% of a day of hard work, the other 96% became bearable. If I can give myself 96% of the day where I'm feeling good, because 1 hour or 4% of my day hurts in a good way. When you finish that, man, the endorphin rush is insane. The mental fix from the physical exertion, but also thinking about a 16-punch combo when you're completely spent, feels good, man.
Yeah.
And so how, from where you were, so you started walking, right? You and your dog?
Yeah, 140 kilos, I'd walk 2Ks and be wrecked.
Yeah. And so where are we now? Where are you at now?
Yeah,
so
cool.
3 years on, where are you at now?
Where I'm at now is...
in terms of that specific thing.
I've got my kids' week about custody, which means 1 week at a time we swap over on a Friday. What I'm doing now is when I've got the kids, my mornings are insane. I'll wake up at 4:30. I lie on the Shakti mat. It's a prickly mat that activates my back for about 20 minutes. Yeah, meet you one of them.
Yeah.
I'll do calisthenics, so that's full body workouts, half an hour to 40 minutes. I'll chuck a YouTube on. I've got medicine balls. I'll do 40 minutes worth of calisthenics in the morning, and then I've got a chest freezer that bloke off Marketplace put some sort of membrane on. It lives out the back. I'll jump in the ice bath. Even now in winter, it's 8 degrees outside. I go and jump in the ice bath when it's sitting at 2 for 3 minutes. Activates mad dopamine system. I feel amazing when I get out of that. Start making the kids breakfasts, and that's my morning. So I've been active as soon as I wake up. If I don't have the kids, I'm down at the Shorncliffe Pier generally because it's only a 15-minute drive from home, and I'm walking 7 and 10 Ks.
Yeah.
I'll do some box jumps on the wall, get the heart rate up. I'll do some stair work. There's a big set of stairs there as well because the loose skin means that I can't run, so I just extend my walks. I put some energy in. And the way that I walk is I try and do some high interval training, so I'll try and get my heart rate up and then let it come back, kind of like the boxing thing where it's 3 minutes on, 30 seconds off, kind of walk in a similar way, get the energy levels up. So it's either 7 and 10 Ks a day or calisthenics at home daily.
Oh, a day?
Don't miss.
7 to 10 a day.
When I've got the dog and I don't have the kids, yeah, every day.
Fuck, that's good effort.
Yeah.
That's solid.
So I'm down there at 4:30 in the morning. I'll be finished by 6:30.
Yeah, bravo. Well done.
Yeah, and I can even say that from the person that I met at that breathwork session in 23 to who you are now, you are a completely different looking person.
I feel different. It's the mental
yeah.
shift. The fact that the mental has shifted so much, the physical's followed. It hasn't been a focus on that. Too many people and the weight loss fucking industry makes so much money of trying to sell a dream of weight loss. That's never going to work.
No.
Beating addiction is never going to work if you think about being sober. Think about being healthy instead. Change that. Change your internal voice to the point that you are kind to yourself.
Yeah.
That's a good. Think about being healthy, not being.
But look in the mirror and go, motherfucker, you fucked up. You've got yourself to here. Change.
Yeah, accountability.
Be good to yourself. Don't be mean to yourself anymore.
Yeah.
You're worth it.
Yeah, you got to be
You're
accountable.
worth it.
You got to be accountable, hey.
And I'm my own best friend. I can go out now and I have the best time by myself.
That's awesome, man.
Because I like being me. And, the fact that I like being me means that my connections with everyone are better. I have a mad relationship with you that we've had from that time. We're becoming really good mates in such a short time. The connection's fucking tight, dude.
Yeah, man.
And my connection with the kids is next level. People see me with the kids and they're like, wow, what a good dad. And I am a fucking great dad.
You are.
And so let's use it as a segue into moving from not having any friends, 7 years in Brisbane, not having any friends, and then all of a sudden...
I'm glad you touched on this because
this
this is the hugest part of part of the
It's
mental
a good
shift.
story.
It's
the
connection.
social connection.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So how did you go from not having anybody, and you've started, you've found yourself homeless, you've found yourself in a place now, you've started habit stacking, you've started doing some things for yourself. Let's talk about how you then started making these connections, man.
Social connection. So when I was dark, about 6 months in, I'd got my rental. My rental's in a suburb called Griffin, and I was driving up the motorway. Sales rep, as I said. You never know where the next toilet stop is going to be. You start eating those lentils, man, your stomach tells you when you need to go, and you got to go.
This is the best.
I knew I wasn't going to make it home. So I'm driving up the motorway, I'm like, fucking turtles touching cloth, man, no good. I'm like, where's the next one? I'd gone past the service centre. I'm like, no good, and there's traffic at that hour too, right? That's horrible. Anyone knows Brisbane traffic, think of the Gateway heading north at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's where I was with turtles. I'm like, no. Griffin boat ramp. To pull up at the boat ramp, go to the toilet in there, made it, boys. There's a sticker on the wall with a QR code, and it said Dad's Community, and that's all it said. Right. Dad's Community. This could be worth looking into because mums have mothers groups and dads kind of don't unless they're invited to go along to the mothers group as a guest. You're like the bag carrier at those things. You're not really seen as
right.
being a contributor. I looked it up and my dad's community, they meet Friday nights down at Griffin Boat Ramp. That's not far from home. I'll go down there when I've got the kids because that will be my excuse that if I don't vibe with these dudes, kids want to go home. I met Stephen. I'm pretty sure you were there.
Yeah, Griffin boat.
What do they say? Like a divine intervention, a divine into shit.
And weighing 140, I'm like, I feel awesome. I remember seeing Stephen and just saying thank you and giving him a hug when I left. No, I'm an emotional dude. I had a bit of a tear and a cry, and I felt like I was somewhere that I belonged. And being a regular contributor to that and going to the Friday night meetups, I met people that I have something in common with, being a dad. But the dads community is something else because it's not just people being dads. It's an inspiring place full of friends, full of places that you can speak openly and honestly. And the fact that I had somewhere to share my story helped that whole stacking piece that I spoke about before, the social connection. Yeah. Social connection's huge. You think about someone in prison, if they fuck up, they're put in isolation. That's the place that's the hardest to deal with. If you're in isolation for a month, you come out a different person.
That's right.
If the olden day tribesmen, if somebody was outed from the tribe, they'd be lucky to last out there on their own if they were outcast. I'd not only been isolated from my friends by moving into a new city, I'd been through a separation that isolated me from the people that I thought were friends. I found this whole new group of people. I found this group of people that run running clubs on Tuesday nights. I found a group of friends that not only had something in common, but all have this common goal within themselves of being better. And there's a podcast that I listen to, Jamie Jaster, who's a singer of Hatebreed, and he's got this saying that I love and I relate to the dads community. And the saying that he's got is a high tide rises all ships. And I feel that within the DC. Stephen's going to come on as the next guest, I believe.
That's right.
Yep. He'll talk about that. But the fact that I'd now had a social connection and I had working from home as a sales rep, sales transactions and not having anyone to talk to, being on my own, being homeless, beating the addiction, starting to get better, the social connection piece came back. And that was a huge one. That and sleep have been the two biggest things for me, the social connection. I turn up. Haven't been able to the last few weeks because of Frankie's footy, which has been fun as hell.
It's okay, man.
But to be able to come back last night, I felt like I was home, boys. It was unreal.
Oh, it was awesome.
And whenever we see a new face, we all do it now. Whenever we see a new face, I mean, you can think about when you were a new face. I think you and I are fairly welcoming. And
I think you two were the first people I really spoke to.
A lot of people say that about Tim and
rock
I.
and stuff like that.
We know what it was like. I know what it was like. I've come from that place that I spoke about earlier.
But it's like...
Someone's turning up at DC. Let's chat, boys.
The thing, the DC is, it's really, you go there, and if you want to talk, you talk. If you're not, it's like when people ask how you are, they generally mean it. They're trying to find out if you're okay, and if you talk about it if you want to. But the other thing is, when you couldn't make it to the DC, Tim organised for a whole bunch of dads for us to. It's a great community. Like, they're there for each other, and just the amount of people that came to that footy game for you.
I got a video call the first time we couldn't make it. That was really meaningful. The fact that the boys are on a video call going, "Hey, go on, man." That was cool, the connection piece. But then having them come to me and come to support my 10-year-old daughter at her footy in the rain in winter, that social connection. That social connection was huge. It's a massive part.
It's a big bond.
Of me being here. That's what brought me here today, because that's how we've all connected.
Yeah,
that's right.
But, yeah, man, social connection's massive.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's...
But a lot of people talk about DC being a place that it's okay to open up and communicate if you're in a rough place. But I don't want everyone to think that it's just that, because
No, it's not.
we shoot the shit, we're banter, the kids are
Yeah.
kicking footies around, there's laughter, there's
said
jokes, there's fun. You're at the point where you're taking the piss out of each other, and I can call you a C word, and you know that I mean it, because we're mates and we connect, and it's what Aussies do.
Well, that's why I never went. I remember saying to Steve, I never wanted to go because I thought it was just going to be a whole bunch of men singing Kumbaya, hugging and holding
It's not
hands.
that.
And,
I've
and
seen
I said
it.
to him, I'm not about that. And he goes, just come to one.
Yeah.
And
I've seen
it's
other
not
men's
that.
groups, and other men's groups are almost like a cult and a pact, and
Yeah.
I didn't vibe with them. There's
That's what I was worried
There's
about.
one that-
all drink from the same cup.
one that I saw only about a month ago. I'm like, cool, here's another group. Hung out with them, I'm like, the vibe check's not there with you guys. I like what you're doing for you. It doesn't sit with me.
I think DC's just real dads.
Totally, man.
Just real dads,
Awesome
just being
people.
dads.
Oh.
And they're not faking it.
It was only 2 weeks ago I messaged Tim. I'm like, you know when you're so alone, you take yourself out for a date? I was at Eat Street after checking out a Science and Happiness Expo. That was really cool. At a Brisbane museum, I went to that expo. I'm like, cool, I'll stop at Eat Street in a way because I just like being around people. I enjoy people watching. With the history that I've got, I enjoy people watching. And there's a movie that I really like, Dogma. Do you know the airport scene in Dogma? The airport scene in Dogma where they're like, she doesn't know that he was cheating on her and all that. And they talk,
make your own
people watching. I
stories
make
and-
up my own stories and I love it, man. I love it so much. I message you boys. I think I messaged you both. And Tim's like, why are guys having a poker night tonight? When you come and play poker? I'm like, yeah, sweet. I'll go and grab the dog and I'll see you there. We sat around and shot the shit and played poker that night.
Yeah, I cleaned up.
Only because I went all in on a hand that I thought was all right. And it was 9 o'clock, dude. It was way past my bedtime.
It's all right.
9 o'clock, I'm like, I need to be asleep by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you did. You won.
Yeah.
We know who didn't go so well, but we'll keep that unspoken.
Yeah.
He'll know. He'll know.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So yeah, the habit stacking, man, going from fixing the nutrition to hydration to movement to mental to social connection.
And now
Brings me here today, 3 years later.
3 years, man. And
I'm strong and fit, and
Yeah.
I feel at 51 years old, I feel the best I've ever felt.
yeah.
That's great,
With
man.
the best friends that I've ever had, and the family connection that I didn't know existed because they're proud of me.
Yeah.
And they're proud of me because I'm proud of myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, and you know, you see it within the community because people say they've got a lot of good things to say about you. Because, you know, you've obviously shared your story over the years, you know, in many ways and different forms, and people get inspired by that.
One step at a time, it's all it takes.
And that's why
What does the next step look like? I found myself, I remember you saying, well, I found myself retrenched in October last year. I'm like, 50 years old, just got retrenched. What am I going to do? Well, cool, I had a company car, I have to hand that back. First step, I need to get a car so I can pick the kids up from school. Okay, cool, I pick the kids up from school, I can move them about now. What's the next step look like? I've got to apply for a new job. I had a new job that I absolutely love, the gig that I'm in now, within a month. What does the next step look like? You find yourself in a hard situation, you find yourself in a crisis, just think about that. Don't think about the end goal because it's too far away.
Yeah.
You know what the next step looks like, and that's all you got to take. But continue to keep stepping.
Yeah. No, that's it, eh? That's it. And so where does the future take Matty? Where does the future take you, man? Like,
Who knows? I'll build on the connection that I've got with the kids.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. They're my little crew. I don't feel like a dad in the historic sense of the word. I feel like a leader. I feel like when we're together, we're a little pact. We're of the same social standing. The one word that I've got for the both of them is that we got to be fair to each other. If we're fair to each other, things will work. That's the one word that I could ask him at any time of the day. What's our family word? And the family word is fair. So contribute at home, do that. We can build on that family connection that we've got, build on the friendships that we've got. Who knows? I didn't know that I'd be this far for the next step. But the next step for me is on Sunday morning in the middle of winter, I'm going to be down at Shorncliffe Pier watching the sunrise at 5:30 tomorrow. And I'm going to be at the beach tomorrow night watching the sun go down. That's my next step.
Yeah. Yeah, I was once told that if you set a 5-year plan and you don't start it right now, then your 5 years is always going to be 5 years away, you know. But if you start it right now, your 5-year plan, you could have that achieved within 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know the person I was 2 years ago that we met. I was a different person.
Oh,
man.
you totally were, man.
I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't have a 5-year goal. I wish I did. I'm envious of people that can have a 5-year goal, and I'm all about the fact that they've got that.
I've tried, but
I'm working with my psychologist. I just need to keep building on this.
Yeah.
There's no going back. There's no going back to those dark days, the hollow days, the days where I couldn't talk well to myself. I'm happy with who I am. I'm going to continue that path, and I know what the next step looks like, and that's what matters.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. No, I think, you know, even knowing you personally now, it's really helped me on my own quest of being better too. And I think, you know, with surrounding myself with guys like yourself, you know, that has a massive rub-off effect. You know what I mean?
High tide rises all ships.
That's right. That's right. And so, you know, when I came to Australia, I just sort of started my own, you know, quest of sobriety after, you know, 24 years of smoking pot daily. And I was in a pretty good headspace. But since knowing, you know, guys like yourself and other members of the dads community, it's you know, the trajectory has been massive, because it's about, you know, you put yourself around good people doing good things.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's, I think that's what a lot of people out there struggle with, is the social circles that they run in. Even though they're wanting to be better, their environment around them isn't working for them. And so that's always going to be something that holds you back, right?
Yeah.
So I guess from your point of view, you were in a really special position because of the fact that you built the environment around you. You know, you weren't trying to battle an environment anymore.
In a way, looking back, I saw a T-shirt at Redcliffe Markets the other day that said "Adversity is a gift." And if I didn't have those dark days, I wouldn't be as motivated to continue the way that I'm going now.
That's right.
But watching a lot of YouTubes on addiction and beating addiction and things recently, a lot of celebrities talk about it. It was Mike Tyson, Theo Von, a bunch of others. They talk about the fact that the people you're around need to change. In a way, I feel almost lucky for the fact that I had been so alone for those 7 years, because all the friendships that I made were new. I wasn't trying to go back to, and this is where a lot of people can struggle with addiction, and I understand the struggle. And I'm really happy that I didn't have this part of it where I'm trying to maintain friendships that are empowering that addiction, because you might go down the sporting club or in the TAB, whatever, and have a beer, and that's what you know. That's who your people are. That's your tribe. You go sober and your tribe know you as that. That's got to be a really rough place to try and break yourself out of that.
That's right.
But the fact that I had been alone and any connection that I made from that point was new, I'm really grateful for having that. Because the connections that I made were inspiring people, and I wasn't going back to an environment that I'm trying to break out of. I'd already broken out of that. I wasn't in a bad crew. I wasn't rolling with a bad mob. I was on my own, using drugs and alcohol to calm that internal voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, the connections that I've made have been solid and inspiring and really good, and I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah.
That I'm not trying to go back to an environment that was empowering.
Yeah.
I recognise that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's yeah, man, it's been a whirlwind for you, eh? Is there anything you want to sort of, I guess, tell the listeners or tell people out there listening, you know, to, I guess, you know, help others?
Yeah, we go back to those things. Have a look who's around you. Connect with those inspiring people. Take the next step. Continue to keep moving once you take the next step. What does the next one look like? 1% better a day is 54,000 times better in 3 years. And be kind to yourself.
That's right.
You be kind to yourself, and you'd be surprised the energy that can come out of you.
Yeah.
Well, let's finish it off. Also, I was looking at the paperwork. Let's finish off with some rapid fire questions.
Let's go.
All right, I'm gonna get it there because I don't remember them.
Fucking you.
All right.
If I was brave enough, I'd get that tattooed. Fucking you.
All right. So these are all for you. Ice bath or beach swim?
Oh, I get a bigger rush from getting out of the ice bath because it's a mental challenge.
Yeah.
I never liked the first minute, but I'm at the point now where after the first minute, I actually relax in there.
Okay.
It feels good because I know where to take my mind to get over it.
Okay. Morning walk or night under the stars?
Morning walk gets me energized. Mornings are my time, man.
Okay. Calamari at the markets or sunrise on the jetty?
Oh, yeah, tough one. Sunrise is always good for a photo, but the calamari at the markets is like crack. I enjoy my Sunday mornings and the people watching. It's some good shit that they do there.
I can say that calamari is good bloody calamari.
Is it?
And the chick that runs it's pretty hot.
There you go. Is it? I don't know how you say this properly. Is it the Shakti mat? Shakti?
Yeah.
Shakti mat or a meditation app? Or can you do both?
I often run both together
Yeah.
because the Shakti mat hurts.
Double dipping.
It's a 4 and a 5 maybe out of 10 kind of pain, but once you get over that first minute or two, the mental challenge, it becomes warming.
Okay.
You relax. You feel yourself unpucker, actually. It's a full relaxation. Even the freckle unpuckers, it's really relaxing.
Now this one's
When
gonna
you're
be-
in that relaxing state.
This
run
next
the
one's going to be
meditation.
hard for you because I've seen some of the videos that you send to us, and you love your daughter's footy game, but your daughter's footy or your son's air guitar concerts?
Why not both?
Yeah, you can have both. There's no right or wrong.
Harvey was rocking out this morning to
Cypress
Cypress
Hill.
Hill with Slayer riffs in the background.
yeah, that was a good one.
Frankie's footy's unreal to watch, man. She's so strong and just awesome.
Nah, it's cool,
No,
man.
that's
It's
good,
cool.
man. Well, look, I've only known you for a short period of time, but it's been a whirlwind and it's been great, man. Like I remember meeting you when you were going for this job and all that stuff, and yeah, just grateful for having you in my life, man.
Thanks for the
I
chat.
really am.
No
Nah,
turning
yeah.
back. Next
Nah.
step.
Nah, it's
No,
been
next
awesome,
step.
bro.
No, it's been brilliant, man. And thanks for being raw and honest and just chewing the fat.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, man. Thank you very much.
PMA.
Like, subscribe, comment, give us a follow. If you like what we're doing, share it among your friends.
Ask questions.
Ask questions.
Topics.
Yeah, man. Peace out. We'll see you on episode 10.
Fucking you.
Peace. Well, that's not peace, that's peace. I was doing that. Jackass.
We're putting it all on the table. You know what to do.